It's Ask Away with Jay time, episode number 6. Let's hit it!
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. My music hits me so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me. What am I to rhyme and too hype? It feels good when you know you're down. A super dope homeboy from the...
What's going on, YouTube? Yes, that's right. Episode 6, Ask Away with Jay. JWill07 on Instagram and Twitter, and Jay Wilson now on Facebook. That's right. So let's get to the first question. Question numero uno comes from Miguel Mendoza. His question is, do you ever feed your fish crickets? The answer, Miguel, is no. I've never done any research on it. I didn't do research on it because the answer that I'm going to give you is the only other thing that I've fed them other than fish food, frozen krill, bloodworms, and cucumber, lettuce, and zucchini is mosquito larvae. Last year, my parents have a lot of land. They've got horse buckets and troughs, and the mosquitoes end up breeding in there. I scoop up the larvae and I feed these guys. You just got to be really careful because they're really, really high in protein, is what I was told and what I've seen. But their colors are freaking amazing when you use mosquito larvae. As far as crickets, I'm not sure, but if anybody's watching this, hit it down in the comments. Let Miguel Mendoza know if crickets are awesome. Let's get to the next question, number 2. Question number 2 comes from none other than Reed Smith. Reed says, I think you got Carib Sea sand in there. Looks great, thank you very much. He wants to get some for his Mbuna tank. Where did I get it? Well, the funny thing is, Reed, is this is Carib Sea, but they do make a mix. My dumb self didn't see the mix, so I bought a crap ton of bags of white and then some black sand and mixed them together. Also bought one bag of tan just to kind of sprinkle it in there. I got it at my my big box store, PetSmart. I know Petco carries it. I'm sure your local fish stores carry it, and a ton of online retailers also carry it. But for this, my local fish store did not have what I was looking for, so I then resorted to PetSmart. Thanks, Reed, for your question. On to question number 3. Question number 3 comes from Dara from Ireland. Dara, that was a horrible accent, and I apologize. Dara's question was, well, first it starts, been in tanks for ages, had some tropical tanks, really want to start an African cichlid tank back up. Inspiration of this. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. But he wants to know what sort of advice would I give him. Well, there's only a few things that I really stick true to, and that's maintenance, research, and patience. Maintenance, research, and patience. If you already know you're going to start an African cichlid tank, you've already got your money set aside, or you're thinking about putting your money aside, the next 3 things are literally patience, research, and maintenance. Do preventative maintenance as opposed to reactive maintenance. That's the best advice I can give you from me all the way back to Ireland, is be proactive, not reactive. I hope that your African cichlid tank is coming along. If you haven't started already, we would love to see pictures. Send them to askawaywithjay@gmail.com and I'll get them posted on another Q&A. Thank you so much for sending in your question all the way from Ireland. I do appreciate you watching. On to question number 4. Question number 4 comes from ASAP Pet Info. He's got a 2-part question. I noticed a lot of you guys and girls are sneaking these in here with 2 parts. First one is, would I ever do a large cichlid tank, i.e. Oscars, things of that nature? ASAP Pet Info, I don't think so. That's me telling you now. My next project that I really want to do is a saltwater tank. Whether it's a reef tank, I'm not sure. That is my next project. As far as large cichlids go, there's not much of a variety out here, if you will. And if I'm going to do it, I want it to be really cool, really crazy. His second question was, would I ever introduce a bicar? I think that's the name, bicar or bi-shear. I apologize if I pronounce it wrong. If I would ever introduce it into this tank, the answer is no. And the reason why is because my buddy owns a local pet store, and he brings them in all the time for what I call the monster fish keepers in Oklahoma. And although they're really cool to look at, I don't want to wake up one day and something happened to one of these guys, or vice versa. So that's why I've never introduced one to my tank, nor will I probably never do that. But thank you so much for asking those questions. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, I know you said that you love watching the videos. Thank you so much. Let's get on to question number 5. The final question comes from Clifton. Clifton has a 2-part question also. Really? His 2-part question is, I've kind of inspired him to go to a bigger tank. I do appreciate it. You know, my tank comes from inspiration from a lot of other people, so you can thank them as well. But you built a 240 for around 400 bucks at home. I congratulate you for that. You want to put about 60 haps and peacocks in there, if I read that correctly. If not, it was just haps. But your question was filtration. What should you do? Well, Clifton, on my 150, I have 2 FX6s right now. The Sun's sitting in a box for another project. I would highly recommend for you that one FX6 you talked about in your email. I am a huge fan of the FX6s. As you can see, that's all I'm running is 2 FX6s. Keeps it pretty dang clear. If I was going to add another one onto there and cost was a factor, I would definitely go with the Sun. Hands down, best filter for your buck. Okay? I got these 2 FX6s for a killer deal, couldn't pass it up, but the Sun's, hands down, all the time, no sale, is the best bang for your buck. They will last you quite a long time, the maintenance is easy on them, and they do a fantastic job of cleaning a tank. Now remember, they're rated for 150, so if you're going to do an FX6, couple it with a Sun, or do 2 or 3 Suns. That's me. I'm crazy when it comes to filtration. Hope that helped. Number 2 of your 1 question is power heads. Should you use them, should you not? I do have one. It's sitting behind the 3D background, and it's just there to kick up all the crap that may seep behind from when all the fish drag all the sand around. I do like them for 2 reasons. 1, it does kick up the crap, and 2, it creates better flow at the top if your outputs are not rated for your tank, which they should be. But if they're not producing enough output and current, you can add one to kick up the doo-doo, and it also gives the fish a little bit more of a flow inside the water. Now remember, the lakes out in Africa don't really flow, so don't go crazy with it so your fish are just constantly swimming against the current, because go ahead and you run on a treadmill uphill for however long you have that sucker running while your fish are in the tank. Alright? I hope that answered your question. I hope that helps. Good luck to you in your new tank. I thank you so much for watching. As always, folks, this was episode number 6 of Ask Away with Jay. Get your questions into askawaywithjay@gmail.com. That was my little jingle. That was my melody. Check me out on Facebook. Hit me up on Instagram, Twitter. You guys and girls know that it's awesome for me to stand in front of this camera and answer your questions. So send them into askawaywithjay@gmail.com, and we'll get episode 7 out. As always.